Okay, hi everyone. So today I'm here to celebrate Up10tion's 4th anniversary. So Up10tion debuted on September 10th, 2015, and this is very, very important to me, just because Up10tion is my second alt group. They're right behind Hotshot, who are my number one, and I hold a lot of love in my heart for them. So today I just kind of wanted to discuss kind of my journey with them and the reason why I loved them so much. So if we take it back all the way to 2015, that was the year I got into K-pop, and the first K-pop group I ever really got into was 17, and then the second group I ever got into would be Up10tion. So I got into Up10tion maybe a month after they debuted. I got into K-pop maybe like a week or two before they debuted. I just think it's kind of crazy because this whole entire journey I've been on this past 4 years, they've also been there with me on that journey. So of course my first introduction to them was So Dangerous. I remember absolutely being in awe of that song. I have so much love in my heart for that song just because of the memories it brings back. I was so into the song and I really loved the performance of it. I saw something so special in these boys and it made me really want to get to know them. And so that's exactly what I did. I learned the members, and this was right before their Catch Me comeback, so I learned all the members, got really good with it. They changed their hair colors, and then I lost it, basically. It's kind of funny just because of the timing, but their first ever comeback was also really important to me. I just remember being so in love with Catch Me, and I remember being so in love with the performance, and I just loved like everything that they did. So it just made me incredibly just happy and excited to be following them, because I would watch every single one of their performances every day and I'd be so excited to do it every single day. And I just have so many fond memories of, you know, watching all of their performances and just being really hype and excited about what they were doing. If they were doing any like variety or anything like that, I would watch it. That in particular was a really fun time for me as a K-pop stan. That's not something I experience very often these days. So thinking back to it is really nice because those times will always be really special to me. And that Christmas, I actually remember I got both of their albums. So I think my sister bought me Top Secret for Christmas, and then my mom bought me Bravo for Christmas. So it was a very Up10tion filled Christmas, and I was so happy about that. I was really new to getting albums back then, and it was so exciting. And I still remember my pulls to this day. I remember I pulled I pulled Jinhyuk from Top Secret, and then I pulled Ushin from Catch Me. And yeah, I remember I would just look through these albums so often. They were like my favorite things ever. And then if we fast forward to their second comeback, which would be Spotlight, this was also the same kind of thing. I was so in love with the song, I was so in love with the performance, and the whole album was so good. I remember to be able to buy the album, I had to do some chores around the house, and I was like really willing to do it because I really wanted the album. You know, there was 2 versions this time. I wanted to support them. I was basically willing to do anything. But yeah, a lot of Up10tion's earlier eras have such a huge place in my heart because of just the feelings and nostalgia I get when thinking about them. It makes me miss it a lot, but I also wouldn't trade present day Up10tion for like anything. And then if we fast forward again to White Knight era, that era is potentially my favorite era of all of theirs. The album is definitely my favorite of theirs, and this album I specifically remember listening to on repeat almost non-stop. And this album came out I think around the end of 2016, so I think it came out in like November 2016 or something like that. And I listened to this album so much between November and December that it was one of my most listened to albums of the year. To this day, it's like my most listened to album of Up10tion. And then another cool thing is that I got to see Up10tion at KCON New York 2017. So basically, when Up10tion was announced for KCON New York, I had already kind of had plans to go because I was really wanting to go. I was graduating high school in 2017, so I kind of wanted to make it a graduation gift. I remember the night that Up10tion was announced. First of all, I screamed. Second of all, I was like, okay, now we have to go. I ended up going. My sister and her husband, they drove me from where we live, from the Midwest to New York. And it was the longest drive of my life. Would I ever do it again? Possibly. But was it fun? No, it wasn't fun at all. That was such an interesting road trip, one I will never forget. I was so excited to be able to see Up10tion because Up10tion was the last group I ever thought I'd be able to see live, and it was kind of a dream come true to finally be able to see them. And at that point they were only OT9, but it didn't really make a difference to me because I was finally able to see them, and like I said, it just meant a lot to me. Up10tion has obviously never been one of the most popular groups, and at that time they weren't overbearingly popular, so I figured the chances that they'd tour here were really, really low, and I was obviously really happy that that wasn't the case. And I remember seeing So Dangerous live for the first time. That was so crazy, and they performed Runner, which at the time was a new song. It hadn't yet been released, so that was also really, really cool to me because I had heard the song before it officially released. But yeah, seeing OT9 it was really fun, but it was also a little hard just knowing why Woosuck wasn't there. And I'll only get into this a little bit just because I know I've talked about this before in prior videos I've done about Up10tion. Wushin had went on hiatus, and I'm gonna stop calling him Wushin, I'm gonna call him Woosuck. But Woosuck went on hiatus. I hold a very special place in my heart for every single member of Up10tion, but I've never had a secure, I guess, second bias, in quotes, second bias in Up10tion, but like, Woosuck was someone I really, really loved and adored, and, well, he still is. I don't know why I'm saying was as if he's dead or something, but he is someone that I adore, and I just hated knowing why he was gone, and I hated knowing that he wasn't having a good time, and I hated knowing that there was nothing I could do about it, and I was just overall upset at the situation because it was totally unnecessary, and he didn't deserve to be feeling the way that he was. Especially at that point, there had never been a point where they'd not been as 10, like officially, and I'm gonna say it again, but them being 10 members has always been what worked for me. They're always gonna be 10 members no matter what. Their teamwork as 10 is like impeccable. There's nothing that tops it. They are all very much a family, and it shows. And but then I guess moving on, Woosuck, sorry, this is gonna be so hard. Woosuck coming back to the group for Candyland and the Invitation album was one of the highlights of my year when it happened. I loved how celebrated he was when he came back, and I loved how he was put in the center and again just celebrated as a member of Up10tion. It meant a whole lot to me, and I remember the teasers leading up to the release of Candyland. I was so unsure, and I was feeling so upset because there was no word from TOP Media on whether he was coming back or not. It was really upsetting. The teasers were really cryptic, so it was like we had no idea whether he was actually coming back or not. So it was really, really confusing, but I specifically remember the day his teaser was released, his individual teaser. I literally cried, and I was just so happy for the rest of the day. Like, there's almost never a time where I'm that happy during a day, because I especially remember I was at school, but it was one of the best things of 2018. It was kind of insane, but 2018 was also the year that I got to see Up10tion for the second time, so they did finally do an actual tour here in the US, and it was probably one of the best days of my life. I was able to get a VIP ticket. There was VVIP, which is kind of like the ultimate VIP, and then there was just VIP. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford VVIP at the time, but I did get VIP, which thinking back now, I'm not even sure how I afforded that, but that's besides the point. So I got the chance to meet them. There was high touch and a photo op. So there's a photo out there that exists of me with the 10 members of Up10tion and 9 other people I don't know. It was such an amazing moment. It was really surreal seeing them so up close, because even though I'd seen them before, it was in an entirely different setting and environment. So it was still kind of just surreal. They were all really, really sweet, of course. And I remember I was thinking the other day that I was just being weirdly soft by myself, and I was like, wow, I really want to hold Wooseok's hand sometime in the future, but then I remembered that I'd done that before, so it's like peak stan level, me in my final form. Yeah, and then seeing them perform, I had a pretty good seat. It was pretty close for the most part. It was, again, just so surreal. They played so many songs, and they performed some OT9 songs as OT10, which was really nice. And I have really vivid memories of Jinhyuk. Leading up to the tour, they had learned a lot of English. They'd been studying a lot of English, and Wei was probably, I wouldn't say the best, but he was the one that communicated the best, and he communicated a lot. I think that's something that will always stick out to me, because he always put so much effort into speaking and trying to communicate as best as he could with us. Seeing as none of them are English speakers, it meant a lot to me personally that they wanted to try so hard to learn and communicate. Whenever I get like in my feelings about Jinhyuk, that's what I think about the most, because I just have really vivid memories of him just trying his best, and he would basically do anything to try to communicate with us so we could understand. It's always been like my favorite thing about him. But I guess through all of this, I don't even think I mentioned that Zhao is my bias. Zhao has been my bias basically since day one, and I feel like, I don't know, I talked about Wooseok and Jinhyuk. I talked about what I love about them, but I haven't talked about Zhao yet, which is weird. Yeah, like I said, he's been my bias since day one. There's never been a day where I've doubted that I love him with my whole entire heart. The thing about him that I love the most is just that he's so cute, and I don't know if that sounds dumb to say. I mean, like, his personality is cute. I'm not saying that, well, he of course is cute, but his personality is really cute, and it is entirely what brightens up every single second of every day for me. Whenever he posts on Twitter or Instagram, it makes my heart swell because of how much I love him and how cute he is, and it's just like happiness wrapped up in a boy, and I love it. And it's like just always been that way. Like, he's always just been that kind of light in my life, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I love him a lot. It's definitely harder to put into words why I love him so much, because the love is very deep-seated and it's been a very long time. I also really, really love Hwani. Hwani is who I would consider my second bias. Hwani and Zhao are like my favorite boys ever. I remember there was a video around debut era where they were, I think, in an airport, and they were talking about how they were best friends, and it was the cutest thing ever, and I still think about that all the time. But yeah, Hwani and Zhao, my favorite boys. And when I saw them in concert, they had the little snapshot photo thing, so you could get Polaroids with however many members you bought tickets for. So I only could afford 2, so I only got 2, and I picked Zhao, of course, because that's my baby. But I also picked Hwani as well. I think getting a picture with Zhao is actually kind of me in my peak stan status. Like, that's me at my peak. I can't go any higher than that. But that photo is so cute. It makes me so happy. Also, the picture I have with Hwani is so cute because he's just really cute. I guess kind of all of this to say that I love Up10tion. I'm so happy that I've been able to spend these past 4 years with them. It hasn't been easy, admittedly. This year, 2019 specifically, hasn't been, I mean, it hasn't been great, but it also, I don't ever want to walk away from Up10tion just because standing them isn't easy. I feel like it can only get easier from here, hopefully. I love them so much, and all I want to see from them is that they succeed and that they're happy, and their promotions lately have been great. I'm so happy I've been able to follow them. One of my favorite things about Up10tion in general is just their promotion periods have always been some of my favorites to follow. Ever since the beginning, I've tried to watch every single one of their stages on every different show. No matter what, I've always just tried to keep up with their promotions as best as I could, because sometimes it just feels like there's not enough time. And I feel so grateful that they've been so active as they have been these past 4 years, because even though they're not the most popular group in the world, TOP Media could have just stepped back and said, we're not going to promote you anymore. But they've had consistent Korean comebacks, consistent since their debut. They've debuted in Japan. They're really popular in Japan, so TOP Media could have made the decision to ship them to Japan and keep them there, but thankfully they didn't do that. There's just a lot of different directions they could have gone. There's a lot of different things that could have happened, but over the years, I'm just really happy that they've stayed a group, that they've done as well as they have, and that they haven't given up. And I'm just so happy to be a Honey 10 and to be supporting them. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them, and I hope I can continue to follow them until the last second. 4 years seems kind of crazy. It seems like the last 4 years have passed by without me really noticing it. They've grown up a lot, and again, I'm just really happy to have been able to experience their growth and everything like that. I will be talking and making videos about Up10tion until I die, the day I die, or until I stop making videos, whichever comes first. But yeah, I think I have gotten out everything I wanted to say. I think that was everything. Thank you for watching. Please support Up10tion. Their latest comeback with their album The Moment of Illusion. It's really good. You should totally check it out if you haven't. I mean, if you haven't and you're not an Up10tion fan, I don't know if you'd watch this whole thing. But anyways, I'm going to link all of the videos I've done about Up10tion in the description. So if you want to go watch those, you can. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.